So we have another YouTube going down. It is Friday night now, very late. Can't even see the outside because it's mirroring and already dark. 9:15 p.m. So I'm supposed to wind down already and go to bed very soon. But we had a bit of a shit show. Not a shit show, but basically I went and had my SIM renewed. And instead of 5 minutes, it took almost an hour. So that wasn't great. But it is what it is, so we're a bit delayed. We're currently in the semi-final week of being in Taipei. And this is also my final training week in this first block of the half marathon prep. So tomorrow I have a big race pace test run basically. Or testing to see if I can hold my race pace target of 4:29 for 8 kilometers. So I'm going to be taking you through how I prep for these runs, what I'm eating as well, because I think this is something that a lot of people just massively underestimate in terms of the carb intake, and then the session tomorrow to see if I have gotten fit enough basically over the last couple of weeks to hit these 8K. So we're currently getting the dinner in. So I'm getting in total 400 grams of carbs in for today as a pre-fuel for the run tomorrow. And then I will of course as well tomorrow get some more in before the run and then during the run as well. Even though 8K, so the run in total will be 12K. So I'm going to be starting off with 4K at a slower than race pace and then 8K at race pace. Now obviously this isn't a hugely long run. I normally wouldn't get any fuel or probably no extra carbs in for a run like this. But given that the intensity and the effort level for me to hold a 4:29 for 8 kilometers is going to be quite hard, I'm just getting some extra carbs in. I do feel quite nervous for tomorrow, just being OCD with your training, but it's a good thing. I do like feeling nervous. In general, I do think it's a positive sign, obviously, as long as it doesn't stop you from doing what you need to do. But that's, yeah, I usually don't stress too much, even when things, maybe I don't hit certain targets or whatever, but for tomorrow I do want to, because that's obviously going to indicate whether it's realistic for me to chase the time goal I have for May. If I can't hit the race pace tomorrow continuously for 8K, I might have to readjust and shoot a bit slower, but hopefully not. So it's Saturday morning now. We're getting the pre-fuel in for the run. 30 grams of Frosties and 100 ml of milk, 1 slice of bread with 20 grams of honey, and then the good old Nescafe. So in total, that's around 80 grams of carbs that I'm going to be having for this run. And then I will also bring a gel on the run, which is then in total going to put me around 100 grams. No rain, thank God. That's great. So, do I think I will be able to hit these 8K at a 4:29? So I've set the target pacing on Garmin between 4:25 to 4:29. So that's the zone to go for. So if I can hit a 4:29 pace for the half, that would get me to a sub 1:35. So I'm ready to suffer if need be. So we did some warm up. Gonna go into the first 4K now, which is kind of like the warm up running, but then I'm gonna directly transition into the 8K at race pace. So there will be no rest time in between. And as always, I would love to have a videographer following me or someone, but I don't, and I will likely not be able to film myself because it just makes the running harder and messes with my heart rate, and I can't have that on this run today. So see you after the run. As expected, tough as fuck. That was hard, but we managed. I need to check exactly what my splits were, but definitely under or at 4:29. I think on average it was a 4:28. I did see that my second last K dropped to a 4:33, I was running a bit uphill as well, and I think I let the pace drop. But then I think the last split should have been the fastest one. I still had some energy left in the tank. Average pace for those 8K was 4:27, which is actually a touch faster than the 4:29. So the sub 1:35 half might be on the cards. Not yet, so I still have 6 weeks to go. My heart rate was definitely sitting a touch too high on this 8K, so if you extrapolate today's run, I wouldn't be able to hold that pace for full 21K yet. But obviously when you do this, you need to keep in mind whenever you're in a prep, and especially before you go into a deload, you've accumulated a lot of fatigue. So I've been prepping now in this block for like 6 weeks, even though I would say the first few weeks were relatively easy. But the last 3 weeks, I've definitely trained a lot. I'm noticing that I'm carrying a bit more fatigue and a bit less fully recovered, even though I'd say my recovery is still pretty great, especially with my strength as well. Like typically, you can notice whether you are too fatigued and under recovered when your strength in the gym drops. That is, for me, it's usually the first sign. Or when I really don't feel like training, when I lose drive and like I'm very tired, I don't want to go into my session, but I had none of that so far. So the excitement in training is always going after a goal that you don't know if you can hit. And I've definitely noticed with this half marathon as well, whenever you set a bigger goal, at least for me, there is always a level of self-doubt. You can back yourself 100% and know that you're going to get to a certain goal, but at the same time still have like uncertainty. I think that's very normal. So we're getting a Pocari Sweat bottle in because I finished the run essentially 8 kilometers away from my house or from my Airbnb, because I didn't want to turn around. I was just locked in and running into one direction. So I'm gonna be walking home now, grab a coffee on the way, and get ready for the day. So we've got a big coffee to get the caffeine in. Have my usual oats bowl after the run with extra protein, extra carbs. So it's 12 already now, and there's loads of like these shops here. I love walking around in Taipei. You always see new stuff, even if you've walked through a street a million times already, because this is the way to the gym here. But I'm gonna walk around now for a bit, have my coffee, and then I'm gonna go to the Decathlon Superstore, which is like, I think it's like 40 minutes from here. It's a bit outside. I'm gonna go there to buy male running shorts. So this is one of my biggest dilemmas. I usually run in the Adidas Own the Run, I think it is. But again, it's a male short because I can't find, for the love of God, female running shorts that are knee length and that have pockets. It just doesn't exist. Typically female running shorts, they are shorter, so they go like maybe mid-thigh, and I hate that because when you're running, the short just starts, it doesn't stay in place. I can't stand that on a run. Or if they do have longer ones, they don't have pockets, which again is a bit shit, because where are you gonna store your gels if you're doing a race or if you're in a training, and your phone? And so yeah, so I run, a lot of my training clothes are actually male. All of my shoes are male because I don't fit into the female ones, unfortunately. My feet are too big, but that's just how it is when you are massive and big and heavy and whatever. So I have a DJI, which I really like. I think it's a great camera because the depth and the quality of the videos is great, and I like having high quality stuff. Like even when you look at my Insta content, I do a lot of shoots to have like either images or video even. But I decided that I'm not gonna, at least for the time being, I'm vlogging or doing my YouTubes on my iPhone. So Lucy was kind enough to buy me the new iPhone for Christmas, this past Christmas 3 months ago. So it's 17 Pro. So the camera is insane, like you have both front and back in 4K. And also there is a function now where you can hold your phone as per normal, but film and record in landscape. So I don't need to turn the phone anymore. And it's just very convenient. And also for the production itself, like the editing, getting the footage on the laptop. You could even do it on the phone, but I usually edit my content and my videos on the MacBook. So with the DJI, the problem is the file size gets very big. And then when you store it on iCloud and you edit it in CapCut, for example, this just causes so many complications. And the latest YouTube I did last week, it took me so long to edit it, and it's like, I don't have the patience for that. Like, it's very inefficient, and so I decided, you know what, the phone is just as good. So this was rice, and then there were veggies there. So I ate before I managed to record the most important thing of the day, food. So I'm somewhere outside right now. We got some Decathlon pieces in, and now I'm having food in the food market. So getting carbs in, rice, there was some meat on top as well, veggies. I think there was also some meat on top on this one. And then these are pork dumplings in a soup. So apparently this is a classic Taiwanese meal. It's very good. So Decathlon haul. We got running socks. We got running socks ×2. And then we finally found a female running short that has pockets and is longer. So what happened here? So this one is a Keep Run short. So it has one small pocket in the back, it has 2 side pockets, and it has knee length, so this is perfect. So I got this one in grey and in black, both the same. And then we got a tank top, a normal bigger t-shirt, and then a long sleeve. So next week we're gonna have a deload week. So I'm gonna be talking you through what I'm gonna be doing next week, because my YouTube next week will be slightly different. I've noticed when I look at my engagement and my views on YouTube and the videos that I usually land pretty well is documentation stuff, so document my own preps and lifestyle content. So my plan going forward is to have a good mix in there. So next week there will be a slightly different YouTube. So I'm not going to be documenting the deload week in itself, because I think personally it's quite boring. So it's Monday morning now. We are on day 1 of the deload week, and I'm walking to the gym for my full body session. So we had a great day yesterday. I went to the hot springs, but the hot springs for the foot bath, so to place your feet in and get your feet soaked. It's kind of like a bit of a recovery tool, but unfortunately the public foot bath is under renovation. So I was just walking around the thermal, I don't know how to pronounce that word, like this valley, like hot water and stuff. And then I went to the night market as well. I need to check if I have some footage, because I'm gonna run you through now what this week is going to look like. I'm just gonna break it down into the 4 parts. So nutrition, lifting, strength training, the running, and then also the physique. So in terms of nutrition and calorie intake and carb intake for this week, so on paper I'm still in a deficit this week. So my dieting phase, or my fat loss phase, would end next week. So this is what I had planned out ahead of time, or in January when I started my fat loss phase. I said I would stay in a deficit until block 2 of the half prep, until I'm like 6 weeks out from the half marathon. What I'm going to do this week is I will likely move my calories closer to maintenance, because being in a deficit will intervene with recovery. I want to make sure that I can go into the second training block fresh. What I'm also going to be doing, given this is going to be my final week in Taipei, I will have a bit more flexibility with my nutrition, so I've planned in a couple of meals that I want to eat still, or like food that I want to try. Same as yesterday, I had a couple of things in the night market that I wanted to try out. So with my lifting session, what I've done now, my lifting structure stays the same over the week. So the 3 lifting sessions, 1 full body today, lower body on Wednesday, upper body on Friday. So there's no change there. But what I've done now in my full body session is I reduced the sets in all lifts. In the ones where I was doing 3 sets, I reduced it down to 2, especially in the bigger compound lifts. So my RDL, my lunges, my overhead barbell press. And then I also reduced the intensity, so I lowered the weight slightly, and I left about, probably say around 4 reps in the tank. So volume has reduced, intensity has also reduced. And then for the run-in, this is probably the most important one. So my total volume is going to come down from 50k last week to 30k. I'm going to be doing 3 runs instead of 4, so I'm not going to be doing any interval runs this week. Then my Saturday run, which is typically my race pace run. So I did obviously the test this weekend, 8k at race pace. So this week, this run again is also going to come down to 10k in total. I will be doing most of it at an easy pace, and then I will just add in 2k in total at race pace. And then for the body weight and the physique, so that's 0.4. As I've mentioned, you would typically see when you let go of fatigue and water retention that comes with it, you would typically see a drop in body weight depending on how you've managed the food, the training, the recovery. But I'm on day 1 of my cycle, so usually my body weight is up to 3 kg higher when I'm on my cycle. It was actually 2 kg higher this morning, or more than 2 kg higher this morning. So I'm expecting to see a drop in my weight only probably towards the very end of this week. So once my period is over and I've recovered and I've went through the deload and recovered from the training. And then I have to figure out my travel plans, so I just cancelled my flight to Abu Dhabi yesterday. I was supposed to fly back to the UAE, stay with Lucy for a week or so and then go to Europe. But given the not so ideal situation in the UAE, I decided to cancel my Abu Dhabi flight. And I'm likely going to be flying straight to Europe on Monday, which is better anyway for my current setup, because, you know, being in the middle of a half marathon prep, you ideally want to have as little disruption as possible. So if I can fly straight to Europe, settle in Europe, adjust to the time difference and get the training done, then it's obviously going to be better. And I will be running the half marathon as well in Austria, so I need to settle into that climate, the time zone and everything. So that's fine. I mean, don't know when I will see Lucy again, what to do. We're in the middle of World War III, so need to be patient, and we're going to recover this week and then start block 2, and as always give it everything to then hopefully come in at a sub 95 minute for the half in May.